Have you lost weight only to gain it right back after returning to your routine? Did your diet work for someone else but not you? Rockin' That ID Life helps you understand your genetic makeup to find a lifestyle that fits your needs. Together, you and RockinThatIDLife.com can focus on your health and meet your goals today. That's RockinThatIDLife.com.
Center Ice Brewery is a proud sponsor of Let's Go Blues Radio. Visit centericebrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or make a reservation in their awesome tap room. That's Center Ice Brewery, located in Midtown St. Louis. Let's go Blues! Happy New Year! Welcome to the first show of 2022, which is Season 10, Episode 16 of Let's Go Blues Radio. We're the often imitated, never duplicated, fully vaccinated, 10-time defending podcast champion, the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. Special thanks to RockinThatIDLife.com and CenterIceBrewery.com for sponsoring the show. Please check them out. It's Wednesday. No, it's not. It's Monday, January 3rd, and it's usually Wednesday. It is not this time, though.
Off to a roaring start.
It's Monday. You know, I copy the notes over from the week before and then edit it as necessary, and sometimes I miss something, and I missed the day.
And
I'm just
on
reading like a
today's
mindless
show,
robot.
Kurt Price is joined by Jeff Ponder and Jeff Quirin.
Yeah, right. Just reading like a mindless robot. It's Wednesday, January 3rd. I'll start over. Ready? It's Wednesday, January 3rd, and we're broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook. This is
You got it wrong again.
I did, didn't I? Let's start over again. One
It's
more time.
Monday.
I'm going to type it in so I don't say it.
Take
Again.
3.
MON, Monday. Take 3 for the podcast later, so I can edit all that crap out. It's Monday, January 3rd, and we're broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook. This is franchise episode number 335 all time. To interact with the show, we're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Just do a search for us. You will find us. I'm Kurt Price, and my co-host for the big show tonight are Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, and we're talking St. Louis Blues hockey. Guys, we have a nice Winter Classic win to talk about. We've got some Jersey fiasco nonsense to talk about. We've got some little bit of COVID stuff. The Blues are healthy. All kinds of fun stuff to talk about in this show. How was your New Year's?
It was great. As I said, this. By the way, this might be the closest live shows we've had to each other. So we had one Friday afternoon, and now we're having one Monday night. Kind of crazy. And yes, and we'll get to this in a minute. Good to have beer for the episode again, as I did not last week. So that's kind of nice.
In my Patrick Swayze etched mug. Can you see the face there a little bit? I mean, you can't tell it's
I think
Swayze.
you can see it better when you just chug that beer, and I think we can see it better.
Well, after the show.
Oh, true. Okay, we'll never stop me before. But no, New Year's was great. The wife and I just, like I said on Friday, we just hung out. We played games. So I beat her ass at every single video game there is. And it sucks because she gets so mad and doesn't want to play me anymore. Well, there's one game that she still beats me at, and that's Super Smash Brothers. So she made me play that a bunch. Since I said, hey, we just played 10 games of Super Smash Brothers, we got to play one game of NHL 94. And we did 5-minute periods. I beat her 9-1 as the Senators over the Blues. So
and insult to injury,
that
right?
felt
Senators.
pretty good. Yeah, they were awful in that game.
Well, the Blues weren't good either. So
they were okay. They had Cujo. Cujo's fantastic.
The Blues were not very good in that game.
They were. I think they're better than the Senators.
Sure. If you look at the ratings though, the Blackhawks and the Sabres and the Flames, they were all really good, right?
Red Wings were good too.
Red Wings were pretty good.
The Canucks
were
and
good.
the Sabres were good because they had
Rangers
and McGillney. Yeah.
Yep.
The Blues' top line in that game is Shanahan, Janney, and Hull.
Yeah, but I would take out Janney and put Emerson every time.
Exactly. And that's why they weren't good.
I also had a 5-goal effort from Bob Kudelski, so that was a pretty awesome night.
Who's your defensive pairing for the Blues? Is it Brown and Butcher? I guess
it's Brown and Butcher. The default.
Yeah, I'd almost go Brown and Barron as opposed to Brown and Butcher in that game. I remember switching Butcher out because Butcher's just so damn slow.
Yeah, sometimes I
Yeah,
would
but
go with Doug
he could
Crossman.
hit.
Doug Crossman. Yeah.
Crossman's not a
Yeah.
bad one. Yeah.
Good one. Good call.
Bill, how was your New Year's? What'd you do?
Stayed home, did the usual stuff. Every year we wind up staying home, watching movies. Actually, Kurt and I and his cousin Jeff got a game of Demio on the Oculus. That was fun.
Yeah. Anybody have the Oculus out there and has the game Demio or Demio or however you want to say it, Demeo? It's a fun game, like a board game. You play like a D&D board game kind of thing. I was never a D&D guy, but the whole virtual reality kind of thing is kind of cool. So fun stuff. My New Year's was I did absolutely nothing, and it was glorious.
You edited the New Year's show.
Right, I did in the morning. Yeah.
Hi, I'm
or
back.
afternoon, I guess. Yeah.
Oh.
Right. But I hung out. The kids went to a kid party, and I stayed home and I watched a movie. Did I watch a movie? What did I do? I watched something. Played some Demio.
Played some Demio with me and Jeff. That was fun.
Yep.
And
I watched Mythbusters. I never do that. I like the show. It just happened to be on. I watched a couple episodes of that. I don't know. Low key.
We rewatched for the first time ever Doctor Strange, which I like that movie.
That's a
personally.
good movie. It's a really good movie.
But my wife I don't think she got it. I don't think she fully, and she'll admit she didn't really understand the whole multiverse
comic
concept.
book movies too complicated for your wife.
No, it's not that. Not that at all. It's just she just never got into that. But now that she got really into WandaVision, she got really into Loki. She loved the Spider-Verse movie, the No Way Home. I think she gets it a little better now. Like it makes more sense. It clicks a little better. So we were finally rewatched Doctor Strange on New Year's, and she was like, "Wow, this is a lot better than I remember." And I'm like, "That's because you're more in tune with what the multiverse is now." So, great movie.
I think if you go back and chronologically, as far as the storyline goes, the Marvel universe storyline, if you watch them all in chronological order, and I think the movie makes a lot more sense as far as like watching it like randomly out of order. But Ant-Man was a really good. I was not expecting anything from Ant-Man, but that was a good movie. That was funny.
Yeah.
And
Paul Rudd's fantastic.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp had the best. And I won't, for those of you who are way behind, I haven't seen it. It's got maybe the best end the trailer scene of any movie I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
it made me go. It made me go.
Left you on a hook.
Oh my god.
Yep.
So that was fun.
I'm gonna have to get caught up on all these comic book movies because I have Disney Plus, and so I've got all the Marvel movies.
Sure.
I just don't have time.
Do you though? Do you have the correct Hulk? Do they have the Hulk on it? The correct Hulk?
They should, right?
It's the one with what's his face?
The first Hulk with Edward Norton.
Not Bana.
No, Edward Norton.
With Ed Norton.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
There are so many others. It will take me forever to get caught up, and then I can find that one on one of the other services.
My kids and I, we went. We printed out not how they came out in theaters, but the story, the timeline. Yeah. We watched them in order that way, so the story made more sense. And we'd watch a couple movies a week, and did that over a number of months, and that was fun. I had a good time with that, and they understand stuff a lot more now, and they're all into it, so it's pretty fun.
You'll have to send that to me so I can watch it that way.
Yeah, you should, and you're slowly. This show is slowly changing to a Let's Go Marvel Universe show, so you're gonna have to get caught up if you want to stay on the panel.
Right. Yeah, it's our opening segment every week.
So where does Wolverine fit into? Is this the right universe? Because
he doesn't yet.
No, no. That's the own
that's
X-Men timeline.
okay,
Deadpool
okay.
kind of intersects there a little bit, but
Although I did read that apparently, and again, huge comic book nerd moment here. Sorry, everybody who doesn't care. Deadpool 3 apparently will take place in the MCU. I read, so that'll be pretty cool.
well, it kind of did a little bit. I don't know.
Kinda, but not really.
Yeah.
But apparently, it's like fully taking place, like after the events of Thanos and all that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Jeff, you have an announcement about a giveaway that we're going to be
I
having.
do.
Yes.
I do. So we got a giveaway here, folks. Big giveaway. Big Winter Classic giveaway is what we're going to call it. I know, real original. So basically, first of all, let's talk about what you'd be winning if you won the giveaway. Right here, this bad boy. Let's get this centered. Bernie Federico, My Blues Note, with writing from Jeremy Rutherford.
It's not just the book, though.
It's not. I'm flipping to the other exciting part. It is signed. Whoa, oh, there we go. Yep, hang on. There we go. Yep, signed by Mr. Rutherford himself for a Let's Go Blues Radio listener. So, yeah, very exciting. This is from a couple weeks ago. Sorry, I'm trying to get my camera refocused here. So how do you win this wonderful prize? And by the way, great book. Did you guys both read this yet?
I have not read it
yet. It's one of those that when you start, you're not going to stop. It's a
page turner.
Make sure you.
That's what
it really is, and
that's what the book readers, the lingo,
right? And it's I'm not saying it's a New York Times bestseller, but it's one of those that you start to read it, and you. And I'll give our friend of the show, well, both friends of the show, credit here, especially Rutherford. You read it, and it feels like you're sitting in a bar with Bernie Federico, and he's just telling you his story.
And you would know that because
I would know that.
all three of us sat in a bar with Bernie Federico and Jim Rutherford and hung out for 45 minutes and talking shop. That was great.
Yep. That was when this book was released, right?
Mm-hmm. The book signing, and then the talking about it up on stage. Federico which was fantastic,
which was cool. That was great Q&A. That was awesome. But anyway, so it's a great book. Again, you just read through it, and you feel like you're listening to Bernie tell you a story. So it's fun. It's great to read. So it's definitely an awesome item, especially if you got a friend or a family member that has a birthday coming up. This would be a great present for them.
It's what book readers read when they're not reading books. See, that's how I would promote a book that I would write.
Okay,
there you go. Book readers read when they're not reading books.
I'll
I don't know
give
if
you that.
I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not, but
so how do you get this? We should probably get to that because we're stretching this out. Mostly my fault. So you are going to tweet us right in our Facebook wall, Instagram story or post, and tag us in it. Basically, however you communicate on social media, whatever platform it is, we're on all of them. Just tweet us or send us your favorite picture from something to do with the Winter Classic. So that can be you attending the Winter Classic, maybe watching with some friends, maybe you guys celebrating one of the goals, maybe it's a video. Or maybe it's just you got your jersey and you got a cool picture of you and your new Blues 2022 Winter Classic jersey. So just post that on social media. Make sure we're tagged in some way, whether you tag us in the picture itself or post it on our wall on Facebook or whatever. Let's Go Blues Radio. Again, we're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Follow
and then, of course, depending on what platform you're sharing your post, make sure you follow us on that platform as well. So follow, post, picture of you, something to do with the Winter Classic, and make sure we're tagged. That's it. And we're going to pick our winner next week. We should have a show on Wednesday. So hopefully then we will be able to pick our winner then.
So you've got 9 days to get this done.
9 times.
9 times. And can people enter on each platform? I think yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
that's more chances to win, right?
Yeah.
Enter on Twitter,
this is-
Facebook, Instagram. Not
Yeah,
TikTok.
I'm looking. Yeah,
Not
yeah,
TikTok.
we're not on TikTok, not yet. Bill's still working on that. With his internet issues, it's kind of taking him some time. But
still trying to get the permissions down and the security issues down with the Chinese platform. Yeah.
Yep, it'll take time. But no, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you use the most, whatever you want to use, just make sure we're tagged, make sure you're following us. That's all it is. That's all it takes.
So that we are looking forward to that. So the official beers of episode number 335. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. My handle's at cprice12. Jeff says jponder94, and Bill's is Blue Note 33. So Jeff, what are you enjoying this evening?
Before we get to mine, let's get to some of our listeners who have posted what they're drinking. Austin Lynch says, currently at the gym listening. My drink of the episode is water. Good. I'm glad you're not drinking beer at the gym. That would be odd.
Well, you got to maintain, right? I mean, if you work out so you can drink the beer.
Right.
Right.
And then Matt Harris says, my beer of the episode is Aichi Wow Wow from Native Dog in Camden, Arizona, Arkansas. Sorry,
I need to see
Arkansas.
a picture. Let's see a picture of that label.
Yeah.
Because if you name a beer Aichi Wow Wow, it's got to have a good label. Has to.
Yeah. Agree.
So share that.
My beer, which I'm sure I've had this on the show before, from Schlafly, the White Lager. Just a good, smooth lager that I don't really know how to explain it. It just goes down easy. Easy drinking. What is it? Easy drinking. What they used to say? No, these say in Blues games. Easy. No, what did Mike Shannon used to say? Easy drinking, cool tasting, something like that.
Yeah. Ice cold
Budweiser.
Whatever.
Yeah. All right, Bill.
Ice cold frosty Budweiser.
Pick me up here.
All right. So the connection, and I'm sure it's going to drop while I'm in the middle of this because fuck you, Netgear.
I'm just hoping you get like a goofy look on your face when you freeze.
I'll try to make as many fucked up faces as I can. My beer is 13.
Your connection is terrible.
We just heard 13.
Surly, right?
And I think he's
13.
out.
He is out. He called it. All right.
He did. Well, at least we can see his beer real nice.
Yeah, no, it's a nice freeze frame. Nice advertising for. I think is that Surly? That's Surly, right?
I think so. Surly 13. Let me check just to make sure.
All right. So anyway, until Bill comes back, my beer of the show is the local beery, the O'Fallon Naughty Peanut Butter Pretzel beer. I haven't had this on this show yet, have I, Jeff? The peanut butter pretzel? I've had
No,
pretzel
I don't
beer.
think you have.
Yeah,
I don't think you have.
I found this in the store and I had to have it, and it's pretty good. I like it. If you like peanut butter beer, which I do, and if you like pretzel beer, which I do, then you'll love this, which I do. So do what I do.
Well, yeah, I agree. You should always listen to what Kurt does. So since Bill could not give any kind of update on his beer, we'll just go with something I found off the internet. Outstanding score on Beer Advocate, 94 out of 100. That's pretty freaking good.
Bill doesn't drink crap. Bill drinks good beer.
No, he does. And yeah, every review I'm seeing is just awesome. So darker beer. So keep that in mind.
Just going to leave that up on the screen the whole show.
Oh, I hope it stays.
It's going to be the promo for the show too. It's just, I mean, it's up there for a few minutes already.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's a couple of T Welcher 15, fellow podcaster, Mr. Welcher. How comfortable are you guys about the changing of the guard with this team and the next core of the St. Louis Blues right now? Be happy to get into that as soon as we get into some Blues talk. So we'll pause that question.
Yeah, we usually get to some Blues talk. What, about hour 2?
Yeah. Blues talk right now. Today in Blues history. Oh, Bill left us.
Oh, I just lost Bill.
I just
Damn.
lost Bill. Let me get up a placeholder graphic there. I should have had a placeholder ready to go. We knew that he was having
that's
issues.
all right.
Could have
We
had
need to
something
just
nice.
have a Bill placeholder at all times.
Right.
Yeah.
Today in Blues history, courtesy of the @STL Blues history Twitter account, January 3rd, 2015, TJ Oshie recorded his second career hat trick, 4 points in the game as he scored his 100th career goal. Jaden Schwartz recorded his 100th career point in the St. Louis Blues 7-2 win versus the San Jose Sharks. Let me guess, Jeff, you're going to say, I remember this game.
I don't actually. Don't remember this game at all.
There have been a few games where, there's Bill. He's back. Oh, he's back on his phone again.
Oh, there he is. Oh, we get a good shot of his beautiful body.
There you go.
Yeah.
There.
I'll try to hold this as best I can, but Jesus fucking Christ, what a shit show.
JFC. January 3rd. We're in Today in Blues history, by the way, Bill. January 3rd, 1991. Brett Hull was named the winner of the All-Star Game voting. Hull was the first player to receive 400,000 votes and won by more than 100,000 votes. Brett talks about that and other things with David Johnson. David Johnson. Wow, John Davidson. David Johnson. Oh, with Steve Bushnevich.
Kurt will read whatever you put in the teleprompter.
I had it right on the page. It says John Davidson, and I just read Dave. What did I say? David Johnson?
David Johnson.
I have something wrong with me. But yeah, he shares a video on the Twitter account, and Bill left us again. He's just dropping all over the place. I would love to. There he is again. I'd like to be a fly on the wall at Bill's house right now. It's probably not for children. No. But he shares a video.
It is not. It is not for children.
He shares a video with Brett Hull. The interview with John Davidson in between periods of this game. It was in between the first and second, I believe. Blues were winning 1-0 against the Rangers in this game. Where the interview takes place, and good long interview. Back when they used to do nice long interviews in between periods, Blues games.
I miss that, man.
That was cool.
They used to have an actual studio set up.
Oh yeah,
the player would come in and sit down,
and they would talk to them about just other stuff, not like game related stuff. Nowadays, it's like, what were you guys seeing in that first period? You want to talk about this, talk about that in the game. Back then, they talked about stuff like this, about leading the the league in all-star voting and everything. So those days are gone.
Yep.
January 3rd, 1970, the St. Louis Blues beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 6-0. Red Kelly, head coach of the Penguins, had his players wear earmuffs due to the crowd noise. It didn't work as the Blues scored 5 first-period goals. This picture, first time I saw this picture was in the Note by Note book that was released back in 2000, or I think, to commemorate I think it was 2000, or maybe it was 99. Maybe to commemorate 35 years of Blues history, something like that. Maybe it's 2002. I don't know.
Fucking damn it!
Bill. You looked fine.
Bill,
and he's
I wonder if he realizes he was live.
I don't know. There he is again. Holy cow! Okay, he's just.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah, so I just can't get anything to work tonight. So the earbuds are out, and hopefully there's not an echo from my end. I apologize if there is.
I hear no echo.
I don't either.
Matt Harris says, Bill, I understand that shitty internet struggle. It took me 2 hours to upload a PDF for a job application I did today. Thanks for fighting it for us, bud. That's back in the dial-up days. 2 hours to upload a PDF. Remember the days of taking an hour and a half to download a song?
Mm-hmm.
Remember what it was like to look at porn in those days?
Oh, yeah, I mean, line by line coming out. Not porn.
This picture's going to be hot.
Yeah.
This is going to be hot.
Yeah.
2 hours
but
later,
we were conditioned.
It's almost there.
A lot of us were conditioned by scramble porn to be okay with that. So
that's right. That's right. It was always better than scramble porn.
Kids nowadays, they have no idea. I don't want to sound like an old man, but I mean, kids nowadays will never know the struggle of trying to, get off with scrambled porn. was like, oh, you trying to like make out? What is that? Oh, I think I saw a boob. Maybe, I don't know. What was that? I don't know. It looks like they're having fun.
Certainly
I
sounds
heard a
like it.
moan.
It certainly sounds like it. Yeah, the audio would come through, which, yeah,
Mm.
scrambled porn. Is that a thing still? I don't think so.
No,
I don't know.
because you don't have static anymore.
The
Right.
scrambled porn was on purpose. You weren't paying for the station. You didn't get to watch it. That was why it
Yeah,
was.
but
But you got to
it's
hear
not
it.
scrambled anymore. It's HD. HD now doesn't have the scrambled shit.
Well, I know. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. They just
Come
turned the
on, you're a
channel-
tech guy. You should
Well,
know this.
I'm just saying I guess they just turned the channel off. Whatever. It's like a flip of the switch.
Yeah.
Anyway, along with that tweet, they tweeted out the rosters for the two teams, which is always fun. If you're not we say this a lot. If you're not a follower of @STL Blues History, be a follower, because every day it's just good stuff. If not just for the text content to hear what happened or to read, you can see pictures, video, old programs, rosters and stuff. Just fun. I mean, the Blues goaltenders this game you can see on the roster is Glenn Hall, Jacques Plante, Ernie Wakely.
Yeah, I forgot that back in the day, Jim Morrison started his career as a Pittsburgh Penguin, not as a lead singer of Van Morrison.
Right, a defenseman who had played in 4 games to that point in the season. Had what 4? Let's see, he was a defenseman. 4 games played. What's GA? 4 games played. 5
games played. It's got to be goals, right?
GA is goals. Why would GA be goals?
No. You're looking at goals against. You're looking at the goalie stats. So it's position, then goals, then assists, then points, then.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm looking up a column. Sorry, my bad.
So 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points, and 26 penalty minutes.
Right. Jim Morrison, number 27.
But he never broke on through to the other side.
No, he didn't.
Oh,
apparently not.
There it is.
Very nice. January 3rd, 2016, former St. Louis Blues player Billy Plager passed away at the age of 70. Billy Plager, brother of Bobby and Barclay Plager, played 127 games for the Blues in the early 1970s. On March 1st, 1969, former Blues coach Scotty Bowman put the 3 Plager brothers, all defensemen, in the starting lineup at forward and played them on the same line together in a game against the Montreal Canadiens. That was cool. Not that I remember it. I was 2.
Your real life. Why am I drawing a blank? Slapshot.
Yes. Oh, go ahead. I'll let you.
Just damn it.
The Hanson brothers.
The Hansons. The Hansons.
Turn your hockey card in at the door, man. Come on. What's wrong with you?
Sorry.
Putting on the
foil.
There you go.
Foil.
Okay. Little redemption there.
Thank you. Yeah, you want some?
We will let me see here. Let me get the
You're missing one.
There it is.
You want me to just go ahead and do it?
What's that? Missing one what?
January 3rd, 1976. Gary Unger became only the second NHL player to play in 600 consecutive games in a St. Louis Blues 3-2 win versus the Minnesota North Stars. Unger scored the game-tying power play goal. So there you go.
There you go. There you have it, and there you are. Today in Blues history. We'll get into the Winter Classic win, along with some other stuff, and Mr. Thomas Walter's question about the changing of the guard with the Blues, which we're happy to talk about after this word from ID Life.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Put that energy drink down. Don't you know that common energy drinks contain high levels of caffeine and other harmful ingredients that can lead to increased blood pressure and heart rhythm disturbances? Finding that energy you need for everyday activities doesn't need to put your health at risk. ID Life's energy formula doesn't use artificial ingredients or a massive dose of caffeine. Energy's caffeine levels are released slowly over time, allowing for longer periods of energy without crash, not to mention keeping your heart safe. Energy also includes neurotransmitters for mood, focus, memory, and cognitive function. ID Life also added antioxidants associated with brain health for no reason besides perfection, With RockinThatIDLife.com, you can get an energy boost and leave the heart risk behind. Text Dustin at 636-393-8745 or visit RockinThatIDLife.com and throw those gas station energy drinks in the garbage. That's 636-393-8745 and RockinThatIDLife.com and tell Dustin that Let's Go Blues Radio sent you.
Ken Morris said, I used internet back in the early 1990s, which I thought this was going to be like a kind of a funny, like South Park thing. But prior to www, it was all Trumpet, Gopher, FTP back then when Novel, NetWare, OS2, Windows for workgroups, and DOS 3 were popular operating systems. I'm old. And
DOS 3, I do remember DOS 3.
I was going to say, I hear you, Ken. Those are familiar to me. So I hear you. Not that I worked with them, but yeah. We were, man, Windows for workgroups, Novel, NetWare. When I worked at Scott Air Force Base, we had group-wise email or something like that. It was a weird, I don't know, anyway, boring tech talk.
So a couple other comments we should get to. Matt Harris also adds, I'm so excited for this beach-themed edition of the Let's Go Blues podcast, which I think we'll get into. I'm sure everybody knows what that means. If you don't, you've been living under a rock. And also we'll add, let's see, one more from Matt Harris. Let's just say if I get this teaching job, which we all know he said he's applying for jobs in Missouri, y'all are going to be catching me at center ice way too much. Hell yes. Look forward to that.
Nice.
I'll be there a lot this month. I really will.
you have a problem you want to talk about, or?
No, I'm just saying I've got a ton of Blues games I'm going to this month.
Okay,
and I think
cool.
I'll be going to center ice bore each of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
For the riding the shuttle?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Don't forget, 2 weeks from today,
Is it,
Martin Luther King
yeah.
Day, Chris Pronger retirement day.
Chris Prong retirement game?
We all will be there.
Yeah, we're all going to
Yes,
be there.
we
We're all
will.
going to center ice early. It's a day off work, right? Everyone's off work, right? So
I might open them up at like 8 a.m. Say, open up the doors, let me in.
The Blues knocked off the Minnesota Wild 6-4 in a nice Winter Classic win. And I told you guys before the show I had something I wanted to show you.
Oh, yeah? Hey, Kurt, I think you
Yeah.
had something you wanted to show us.
Right. That's yeah. Well, when I said to remind you, for you to remind me, that was mostly if I forgot.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm
I just-
reminding
okay.
you right now.
All right. So Amy got me this, which I've got a couple metal signs here, right? If you can see the one behind me, the metal Blues third jersey from a while back. Yeah, and I've got a big, huge Blue Note on the wall over here, which you can see on the Batley Sports Midwest commercial if you watch that. But check that out. Winter sign.
Ooh.
Winter Classic from 2017. Blues 4, Hawks 1. It's the Winter Classic logo from when the Blues hosted at the Busch. So it's a nice.
That has nothing to do with this Winter Classic. So why are you showing us this?
It's a Winter Classic. There's a tie-in, Jeff. Come on, keep up.
Oh, I didn't get it. Okay, now I get it. Okay. Well,
So,
that's
very
very
cool.
relevant.
I have yet to find I got to make room for it because it's super cool. So it's got to go
Oh,
somewhere.
that is awesome. Abe, where does she get those things? That's fantastic.
I bought that one online, Facebook Blues group. The people were selling them, and I'll move my camera for a second. If you can see that big, huge metal Blue Note one right there, that one I bought for $40, and it's big. It's heavy duty.
What?
Yeah, same group, same Facebook group.
Yeah, I
It
got
was,
one
that was long.
at
That
a
was long. That was
graph-
about 8 years ago.
I got a nice wooden sign that I'm not going to show you because it's not in sight distance here, but it's I got it hanging right at the top of my basement, and it's a big Blues logo, and it says "Man Cave" under it. So that one's pretty
Nice. So
I'm
the Blues.
jealous.
Well, get yourself a metal sign, Bill.
cool. You got a great hat, though. That's all I'm hearing. You got a
You do.
wonderful toque.
I was going to wear my. Now that's not a toque.
No,
This
this is a
what it?
lumberjack hat.
That's a pelt. A lumberjack.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like a wreck. That's like a
It's
fur,
even got, the
the flaps.
the red plaid, like the universal lumberjack color pattern,
Fargo. You see
black,
it in Fargo a lot.
black and red. Right.
Right. I have a Blues hat
Like when
Wayne-
Garrett Grimshaw
Something
goes
Wayne.
out with a shovel and hits Carl Showalter over the head in Fargo.
Right. Yes. I have a Blues hat like
Um,
that, and I could not. I was going to wear it, and I could not find it. I don't know where it is.
I got a Cardinals one like that actually,
A Cardinals one like that.
which is awesome. Yeah, it was a giveaway one year.
So
and
for
it's
like October,
awesome. I
you can
love
wear
it.
it in the postseason.
Yeah. I think they released it in like it was like
Can-
August, and I was like, yeah, it's a little weird to have this in a giveaway for August, but
Well, but you
it
get to wear
worked.
it
I
in
loved
the
it.
postseason. And can you imagine a team like the Pittsburgh Pirates who never see the postseason giving away something like that? Hey, you can wear it in the postseason,
Oh,
which will
they
never be in.
won't.
Yeah, they just don't.
yeah,
do it.
right. It's too many jokes. Well, anyway, so Winter Classic. So
Yes.
let's go over this real quick. Where did you guys watch it this year?
I watched it in my home with my kids, in front of a nice warm fire.
Nice.
Yeah, I watched it in my basement with my dogs, and yeah, that's Julie was out for a lot of the day, so yeah, just watched it and enjoyed it.
Cool. Yeah, I watched it. My whole family actually went over to Crappy Goalie's house. We hung out with the Crappy family, as I like to call them, and we had a great time. So he moved into a house right before COVID. I actually helped him move in, and I have not been there since he moved in. Like, I haven't seen. It's just so funny because like last time I saw it, it was in shambles. You know, they're moving boxes in and furniture in, and then I'm like, "Hey, I finally get to come over to your house," and he's like, "Yeah, 2 years after you moved me in." So, it was cool, you know. And then I showed a picture online of for Christmas. His daughter's a big hockey player, and they set up synthetic ice in the garage, and it's a shooting zone now. Like they're such awesome parents that they actually are like, we'll just keep our cars outside in the winter. Who cares?
Oh, that's
I-
and do they commute to work? Or are they working from home? Because if they got to go every morning,
No, they
gets cold.
drive every morning.
oof,
I know that the crappy mom, or I guess crappy wife would make more sense. Crappy wife, she works at like 6 a.m. almost every morning. So she's got a brave, you know, dealing
all
with
that-
the ice on her shield and all that.
all that for the hockey in the garage.
Yeah,
Nice.
which is awesome. I mean,
Very cool.
tell me that's not a hockey mom right there.
That's a hockey mom. She's earned her stripes.
Yep. That's right.
dedication.
No, so it was awesome. My son had a great time just shooting. That's what we did at second intermission. We went out and it was funny because like he did not want to go back in to watch the game, and I'm like, too bad. That's what we're here for. So it was a lot of fun. But yeah, just a great game to watch. And I know you guys, even though you were, you know, none of us really did anything too super special. We didn't go out somewhere to watch it. Still a very, very fun thing to watch, even with, you know, just your significant others and kids.
Ken Morris says Bill looks cold. Is he relocating to Saskatoon? LOL. To that, I reply with,
Where the hell is Saskahoo?
This is a bumper
Very
sticker.
nice.
This was the bumper sticker that Schmeezings sold back when in the early 80s when the Blues were almost moved to Saskatoon.
Yeah.
Where in the hell is Saskahoo?
Mm.
The Blues knocked off the Minnesota Wild 6-4 in the 2022 Winter Classic at Target Field in Minnesota. Braden Shen did not play in this game. He was a game day decision and did not dress. Jordan Kyrou sets the Winter Classic record for most points in a game with 4. The Blues pretty much dominated the first 2 periods of this game.
And let's not overlook the fact that was in one period.
Yeah, right.
Very impressive.
Right.
Yeah, not even a full period. This is what, 3/4? Yeah, 15 minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. At one point, I think when he had 3 points, he had only played 9 minutes and 28 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, that's how deep this team
Pretty
is.
ridiculous.
He doesn't play a ton. I mean, he plays enough, but he'd get more ice time on other teams that aren't quite as deep.
Yeah.
The Blues dominated this game in the first 2 periods, outscoring Minnesota 6-2. The game was supposed to be played last season, but was canceled due to COVID and the season itself being pretty messed up otherwise. The official temperature at puck drop was negative 5.7 degrees, and it reached negative 10 later on in the game in the third period. The previous coldest game on record was the 2003 Heritage Classic between the Edmonton Oilers and Montreal Canadiens at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton on November 22nd, 2003. It was 0 degrees for that game.
Right. The first of the modern outdoor games, if you exclude the stunt that they pulled at Caesar's Palace back in the early 90s.
Right. Yep. Between LA, who was the opponent against LA?
LA and
It was the Oilers.
Rangers.
LA and Oilers?
Oilers?
Okay.
Oh, it was the Oilers.
All right.
Or was it?
It may have been the Rangers. Jeff may be
It was
right.
the Rangers. Let me look.
I just remember a big grasshopper problem during the game that they hadn't counted on.
Yeah.
Flying grasshoppers.
Rangers and Kings.
Okay.
Rangers and Kings.
Bennington had warm chicken broth in insulated water bottles in goal. Friend of the show, Luke Korak, said some players had chicken broth in bottles on the bench as well. That was brilliant. I mean, obviously not going to just like squirt it on your face and down your back, but that'd be amazing. Yeah, right. Forget just like, down your back. But that was brilliant because it's got some salt in there too, right? So you're like, I mean, you need some salt to replenish your. That's
Right.
pretty brilliant, actually.
Yeah, replenish the electrolytes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Rondo.
Well, and there was
Stuff.
there was word that came out that the Packers had actually helped the Blues out with
Right.
Yeah.
staying warm in
Right.
these kind of temperatures, and you have to wonder if maybe that was a tip that was passed on to them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there was one shot that they had. I think it was Ryan Hartman was trying to take a drink, and the water bottle that he grabbed was frozen,
Yes.
and so he had to go on to the next one.
A lot of
So,
fan
that's funny.
pictures of their beers, their seats, and the cans of Bud Light or whatever it is, frozen, like bubble on the top, just kind of frozen.
Yep.
Yeah.
So cold.
Yeah, there was a great picture. I think it was in the third period of somebody's. I think it was just a mixed drink they had, and it had frozen. And it was funny because sitting with my wife, I don't remember, somebody that was in our party was like, "Why would you order a frozen drink?" And I go, "No, I don't think they ordered that. I don't think it was supposed to be ordered that way.
Right.
It's just been sitting out, and it's gonna freeze in weather like this."
I thought frozen drink might taste kind of warm in a weather like that.
there was somebody who posted a picture of or a video of him warming his hands on a cold beer because it was so cold.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He had a Surly Furious, the native brew of Minnesota, and that was a smart move.
The Blues showed up to the stadium in shorts, sandals, and Hawaiian shirts, which got a lot of play, a lot of laughs. They had fun with it. But the thing with it is, and I agree with Torrey Krug, he was quoted as saying, "When you show up in bathing suits for a Winter Classic, you better win the game." And I was like, yeah, you can't show up acting overly loose and having fun and goofing off almost, and then tanked on the ice. That would look bad. So yeah, you have to win. They did. So,
and what I love, we talked about in the preseason, one of our preseason shows, the Blues just seem to be having fun, especially coming back this year with Bennington going on the ice as a skater and the Berube chalk outline. And we're still seeing it. We're seeing the question of the day or whatever that is that comes out. I think it's about once a week where social media posts that. And we're seeing it now. But it's exactly what Krug said. You have to back that up. You can't just go out and have fun and then lose 5-0. So for the Blues to come out with that kind of swagger, I love it. Love it.
Remember in 2000 when the Blues flopped against the Sharks when they won the President's Trophy, and Jamal Mayers and some other players like did some weird stuff with their eyebrows. They were like, they cut tiger stripes in the eyebrows.
Yeah,
just kind of entering the series like overly loose and having too much fun and being ridiculous, and they flopped. And I look back on it thinking, yeah, their head wasn't in the game in the series. Not really, not entirely. And so that could have been the play here, if they'd flopped on the ice, almost like Minnesota did. Minnesota looked terrible first two periods. But it all worked out, and now it's the thing of legends. So it's funny how it works out.
I wonder if we'll see this again sometime soon.
The beachwear?
The beachwear, yeah. Like for a cold game, or
seeing
it where other teams take it.
Not for a while.
Not saying that
you can't copy it. You do something your own thing.
I don't think maybe you don't copy it, but maybe you replicate it in some way. You do something crazy.
Well, they were going to. You heard what Bennington said? He had a bunch of lumberjack shirts bought
Right.
But they decided that they didn't want to do that, and then so he said to the press, he goes, "So I got like 30 lumberjack shirts. If anybody's a large and extra large, I got some extras." This was the Blues' second outdoor game. Both were winter classics, as opposed to the outdoor series or the stadium series. The first was held in 2017. The Blues beat the Blackhawks 4-1 in Busch Stadium in what many called the best winter classic presentation to date. Which I'd argue that. I mean, you watch them every year, and the Blues put on a great show.
Right. Hell, Mark Lazarus, the Blackhawks reporter for The Athletic, he tweeted that the other day. Still think that, the 2017 presentation by the Blues is the best yet.
And a Blackhawks reporter would know because he's been there so often for his team.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No kidding. Home and away. Yeah. He's seen plenty.
Right. Yeah. They've won one. They've played in 8. Is that right? And they've won one?
Something like that.
Yep.
Something like that.
I think.
They've won one time.
Yep. No, I loved, you go back and look at that and compare it to this year or the last Winter Classic. And yeah, it does. I loved a lot of the Minnesota atmosphere. Some of the open was fine. We'll get, I'm sure we'll talk about the, I don't know if we will or not, the puck drop ceremonies they had.
I don't have it down, but we can talk about
that was so unorganized to me. It was so weird. It was like they didn't tell anybody, like, hey, we're gonna like go to this guy, then you. Like, it just looked like nobody was ready. And people were just shocked, like, oh, now we're doing our puck drop. Like, it was so weird. I just not a fan of the way they presented that.
The whole point of the ceremonial puck drop is to have a ceremonial puck drop, and they would announce, the whoever they did, like 8 of them, right, or something like that, and they would show who's doing the puck drop for on this sheet of ice, on that sheet of ice. So they had the smaller sheets of ice around the main ice sheet, and but then they would go on to the next one, and then the next one, and say who it is, and sometimes they drop them, sometimes they wouldn't while they're on camera, and then they didn't say, okay, let's drop the puck or whatever. They didn't do any of that. They just moved on to something else. I'm like, they didn't even show the main one. It was so weird. It was odd. It was odd. It was pretty unorganized. Nobody knew what they were doing.
Well, and it seemed like the TV crew. Oh, go ahead, Bill.
I was just going to say, it was like, it sounded like on the Minnesota end, that they didn't realize that Jared Spurgeon wasn't going to be in the lineup until that point. They're like, we need Minnesota native. Let's see who's here. Alex Goligoski, come out here. Right? It was just so weird.
Yeah,
like you said, completely disorganized.
They did.
Yeah, that felt weird. That felt really weird because I looked at him like, okay, that's not Spurgeon. And then I was like, oh, wait, he's not playing. And did they even say it was Goligoski?
Yeah, they did.
Over the broadcast?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't hear it. I kept thinking, okay, who is that? And then finally I saw him skate away, and I was like, okay, that was Goligoski. But just weird. It was just such a weird presentation.
Ken Morris said, Pat Verbeek in the outdoor Vegas game that we talked about earlier claimed he is the only player in NHL history to be tripped by a grasshopper.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Wouldn't surprise me. It was just a weird, and then like the TV crew seemed like it was off too, because like, and I know these kind of things will happen in live TV, but they cut to I think it was I can't remember, I think it's a Golden Gophers coach. He was with Mikko Koivu and was it Wes Walls? Who was he with? He was with another Minnesota Wild player. And when they cut to the old coach, which I didn't recognize him, they had it listed as Mikko Koivu. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, my God, Mikko Koivu has not aged well. This guy was like in his 70s. I'm like, that's not Mikko Koivu. And it took him a while to like pan over and show actually Mikko Koivu. I'm like, does anybody know what's going on right now?
Right. It was Lou Nanny, right? It was
that's right.
That they were showing. Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
It was so unorganized. So off to a poor start on the broadcast as far as their presentation goes. Um,
And if anyone listening live right now was at the game, or maybe even knows somebody who was at the game, any kind of feedback you have, I mean, I've heard from friends. I have one friend that went, and he said, just obviously greatest time of his life. He didn't go to the 17 Classic. Said everything in the arena was great, but as far as the broadcast goes, didn't get off to a good start.
No. The Minnesota Wild hosted a Stadium Series game back in 2016 versus the Chicago Blackhawks at TCF Bank Stadium. The Wild won that game 6-1 because the Hawks don't win these things. They can't beat anyone in an outdoor game, and they've played in a lot of them. And hell, they can't even beat anybody in an indoor game nowadays.
That's
so,
right. You hate to see it.
They hate to see it. TNT had acquired the rights to the U.S. television broadcast back in April. ESPN and ABC had a full slate of college football bowl games on New Year's Day and was unable to accommodate the Winter Classic. So that's why it was on TNT. I was wondering why it was on TNT at first, and that's why.
I think I like it better on TNT because I like the TNT panel better.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if they would have, I guess they wouldn't have been on if it was on ESPN or ABC.
Right.
That was
they
good.
wouldn't have had all those guys on, no.
Yeah, they're not part of the same media group. It would, I mean, it would be awesome, but and I think we're used to Kenny Albert, right? Kenny Albert's called a couple of pretty big Blues games in the last couple of years, he felt kind of, I don't know, stale or something during this game, like on Perron's goal, right? Caught him by complete surprise.
Well, it was, yeah, but yeah. I mean, it was a.
I don't know. I think I would have liked Buccigross for that.
I'll disagree.
I don't know. I mean, I think Albert was the safe choice for this.
Yeah.
But not only did the Blues win the game on the scoreboard, but they won all the all-important jersey battle too. Once again,
hell yeah.
Trotting out the best Winter Classic sweaters ever. You could argue that the Blues have the best two Winter Classic sweaters ever. Their classic blue ones from 17 and their complimentary off-whites from this season. So things of beauty.
Right. How many tweets did you see during the game that people, non-Blues fans, I think Ryan Lambert comes to mind, calling for the jerseys to be the permanent jerseys, right? Get rid of the regular home and away in favor of the Winter Classics.
We said that after 17 when we saw the blue ones. We're like, oh, make these the home jerseys or the away, or however you want to do it, and bring a white version and make that the home, and have those two.
Right, and that's basically what they've done.
Yes, and it's almost like the long play, right? So they in 17, it's all set up. We'll have the blue one for the home game, and then if we get an away game, we'll have white ones, and then a year or two later, we'll switch out and we'll have these both. It's set up for that, right?
Do you think they're going to do it?
I think they will. And I think they may switch it from the cream off white to white.
Right.
And then, but I think if they don't, I think they should. I'll say that.
I don't think they will.
Whether they do or not, I don't know. I think they should because it's such a better look. And not right away. I bet you they'll do it. And maybe if they do it, it won't be next year. It'll be like the year after.
There were minor tweaks to the previous Winter Classic jersey before it became the third, right?
Good changes.
I think right, and I think that making it a pure white jersey, that popped in the outdoor game, but it's off white is not so great during an arena game presentation. I think you do that, maybe tweak the lines on the shoulders a little bit. Yeah. I think you're good.
Maybe bring them down a hair. I don't know, or round them off, maybe.
I think round them off.
Yeah, I think round them off because they do look like they kind of stopped, just cut short. I think that's my only suggestion, maybe to round those off. And that's it. Which would
dream, fellas?
I think they should do it.
I don't think they will because I think basically right now you have, first of all, let's hope they've done away with the retro and reverse retro bullshit. Let's hope those are done. Now you've got 4 jerseys, and I think what you do is, and I think this is what they're going to do. They're going to keep their home and away. They are now. And then on Saturdays, because that's what they've been doing, follow the Cardinals route. Saturday home games, they've been wearing the Winter Classic blues. I think on Saturday away games, now they start wearing the Winter Classic whites. And I think that's the way to do it in terms of a marketing perspective, because that way they can still sell all 4 jerseys. And the crazy fans like us and number of other people are going to say, yeah, I kind of want one of every jersey.
How long have they had these? But I mean, they can still sell the jerseys. How long have they had these jerseys? When did they switch to these jerseys? They switched to them after the piping, the yellow piping,
the yellow pipe.
It's been 12 years or so, something like that.
Yeah, that was
years?
done away
Like
with in 09, I think.
So
yeah,
I mean,
you're about right.
It wasn't 09. It was when Paul Stastny signed here. When was that? 2014?
Was it that recent? No.
Well, no. I guess he's right, because Tarasenko's first game was in the piping jersey.
You're right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Stastny's the one that unveiled it at that icebreaker event.
Okay.
So that would have been 14, 15.
Okay, so we've had these for about 7 years. So, like I said, in a couple of years, I think once it gets to 10 years, I think they could switch. It's been a while.
Maybe we'll see.
I mean, they won't keep them forever. I think in a couple of years, I think they switch. I think they do.
I don't know. We'll see.
If they don't, I'll say this: they should. I'm not going to try and predict what they do. That's weird. But I think I'd love to see them do it. I think these look so good, and I think that they would go over really well. And it's a natural change. Maybe you got them both in the shoot. In a couple of years, make the change. Let's see. First period of this Blues game, Perron scores, what was it, 5.5 remaining in the first period to give the Blues the lead.
And let's before we get into the goal, the Blues came out with fire. They looked early on, they were the better team. So we talk about them coming out with the beach wear and obviously winning the jersey battle. I don't think anybody would argue that. They came out and they proved that we are the number 1 team in the Central Division. We're the best. You need to step up your game to beat us. They look great. Bennington had swagger to start the game, and the Blues the offense was just nonstop. They just kept coming at them, and you knew eventually they were going to get the first goal.
You're hoping.
It did feel like one of those games where the Blues were going to dominate, and then there was going to be one weird fluky shot that went in past Bennington, but luckily that didn't happen.
But it did happen. Well, we scored first.
But they scored first.
Yeah.
Blues scored first.
Right. No, it totally felt that way. It totally felt like the Blues had a very strong start, and something weird was going to happen, and then the rest of the game, it was the Blues scored first, but how many weird goals in this game?
Well,
I know
how until the Wild scored their third goal, they hadn't actually shot the puck into the net, their own the Blues net. They scored. Right. So I mean that was it 6, 7, 8 goals have been scored, and they hadn't straight put one in their own in the Blues net yet. They put one in their own net, and both of their first 2 goals against the Blues. One went off Mikkola, was a centering pass, and Mikkola kicked in. And then the second one was that goofy-ass pass in front, went off Perunovich's stick. Off the side of Glenn Hall. Couldn't make the save on the side of Bennington's mask.
Right. If it was the other side, Liu would have made the save.
Right.
Liu makes that save if it's on the right side.
Yep. So T. Welcher 15, who's Thomas Welcher over at Locked In Blues podcast.
Locked On Blues.
Locked On Blues podcast. Check them out. Another part of the Blues podcast brethren.
Locked of Blues.
Locked of is another
Locked
show.
Or Blues.
Locked of.
Locked On Blues.
Locked Or Blues. That's another one too. That's the offshoot
Locked at
of this
Blues.
show.
I don't know. How many prepositions we got?
Locked on.
Locked is
Blues.
Locked on. Locked is Blues. Locked and Blues.
Locked Up Blues featuring Mike Danton.
Locked Up
There
Blues.
you
Hey,
go.
That's funny.
Mike Danton and Rob Ramage.
Oh, too soon. Too soon.
No, it's not too soon.
You feel bad for Ramage. You don't feel bad for Danton.
You feel bad for Dan. You don't feel bad for Dan?
I do not feel bad for Dan. Well, okay, I feel bad that he was manipulated. I get it, but he still hired somebody to kill somebody else.
I know.
Ramage killed one of his best friends.
I know.
It was a mistake.
On accident.
So.
T Welcher 15. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Think he liked our preposition talk. But to get to his original comment, thought the ice in the first period hindered both teams. Not sure if they just adjusted or fixed the surface with the Zamboni, but the puck was bouncing all over the place in the first. And that brings me to a question I wanted to ask you guys, and because I think both teams did adjust. I don't think it was a matter of the ice getting better. I think teams, they just both, these guys are so good on their feet. They're used to dealing with bad ice here and there. I think they just adjusted. Feel free to.
It's funny that Perron said the ice was great. After the first period, as he was leaving the ice, was Perron. Yeah. He did say the ice was really good, which I was wondering about because they had questions of whether the extreme cold would make the ice brittle. And then there was, I don't know if this was actually true, but they said the NHL was actually warming the ice. Maybe it was, but they ran the cooling pipes that they'd run under the ice normally was probably maybe water that was warmer than usual. I don't know, but
yeah, it was. They had to heat it because the problem you run with ice that thin in such a cold temperature is that it'll crack. It'll crack more. So you have to heat it a little bit, so that way it's weird, the science behind it. But
it's funny because I was like the game. I turned to my daughter and I said, "This game just sounds cold." The pucks hitting the sticks and the boards, it just sounds cold. Everything sounded hard.
It wasn't like a pop, the pop that you usually hear when like there's a pass tape to tape. It was more of a crack.
Yes,
like
exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, it just sounded cold.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, it just sounds miserable out there.
Yep.
But maybe Perron's not the guy to ask though, too, because he's the guy that grew up playing outdoor rinks in Quebec.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So he's used to that brittle stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Tarasenko said he was used to it too because growing up, he'd play in the morning in Russia.
They said it was like playing in Siberia.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys, just in terms of these weird, wacky goals that kind of went in off defenders. When, I think a lot of it is just, it's hockey. This kind of thing happens, but it did seem to happen a lot in this game, and we've seen it in other Winter Classic games. Do you think players are it's just a different feel when they're on an outdoor rink and they just are either maybe overcompensating for some issues they're feeling, or maybe they're thinking they have to play the puck differently because it's outdoors and the weather's different? Do you think there's anything to that with these guys, having some weird goals go against them?
I don't know. It's hard to say, but
it could be literal brain freeze. I mean, it is fucking cold out there. But no, I think you have to try to compensate for, for one, keeping yourself warm, and you're probably going to play a little tighter than you usually do. But it's going to be an adjustment. The lighting is going to be different. I don't think both teams had a chance to play under the lights during practice leading up to it. I think there are a lot of adjustments that you're going to make in game, and it turned out to be a very fluky one.
Yeah, and a couple of the goals that went in, like the one off Mikkola and the one off pretty much a stick off the side of Bennington's head. I'm not sure how I'd attribute that to playing outdoors. It just seems. It seems. Fluky goals happen all the time in the NHL anyway. So I'm not sure I see a correlation with the goals scored in this game necessarily.
Right, and Kairu's goal, and where Hartman scored for the Blues, and Hartman's goal that Mikkola scored for the Blues. Yeah, totally the same play. You're just trying to cut the puck off in front of the goalie, and you put it into your own net.
Perron gets his 8th of this the season in the first period, 5.5 left. O'Reilly takes a shot, deflects to Perron, who takes a quick shot, and it just goes in before Talbot can get over, who was reacting to the initial shot. Just a bad break against Talbot. And then
you know what I love most about the outdoor games, I think, is the sight lines. They've figured it out a little bit. I think on live TV, it looks a lot better than it used to. But the sounds, I feel like you hear the players better because you don't have the fans right up against the glass. You don't have the audio just piping through on a tiny rink. It's you hear like when Perron scores, you just hear the whole Blues team just woo.
It's like it's
awesome. It's like a pickup game.
It's like a hybrid between no fans in the stands and having fans in the stands. You get the crowd noise, but it's not right on top of the mics. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Kaprizov scores 25 seconds after Perron scores. So the 1-0 lead was short-lived. Lucky bounce. We talked about it. He goes to the corner, throws it in front. Mikkola is trying to block the pass, goes off his leg and in. It's just bad break. Blues were killing Minnesota.
Crappy goalie pointed out on this goal. I don't remember who it was that Kaprizov was trying to pass it to. But if Mikkola just lets that pass go, that's right on the tape, and that guy's banging home the shot right there with an empty net.
Right. It's just a bad break.
There's no way Binnington gets across. It's a great play by Capri Sun. Got it.
My daughter called him Capri Sun during the game.
That's nice.
Right. Julie said the same thing.
Yeah.
Are they saying Capri Sun? What?
Nice.
Might as well.
No, it's a great play by him, heads up play, and I appreciate Mikkola. The only issue he did was that he had his skates angled towards the net. But when you're skating back and trying to block that pass, it's hard to angle your skates any different. So it's, a lot of people I think were kind of upset a little with Mikkola putting in his own net, but that puck's going in the net anyway.
He didn't. It's not like he slid on his belly and the puck hit him and he carried the puck in the net his whole body. This is a bad bounce. It happens. Blues were owning Minnesota at this point, 1-1 at the end of one period. Outshooting them 14-6 in the first. The Blues killed off both penalties. So Minnesota had 2 power plays, and the entire first period got 6 shots in their home state, and that's the Blues killed them. And the second period, the Blues got the results from that play. And
sorry, I'm going to interrupt again, but because that's just what I do, right? They said how many penalty minutes Binnington has this season. I was shocked.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it, but
he has like 20 minutes. 20 minutes? Something like that.
It's like 19 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
I can't seem to find. Let me look it up on NHL.com. It doesn't just have it in his normal stat line, but yeah, and I think it's because he had a misconduct before, right?
Right. Wasn't it the stick swinging incident?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So that's going to bump up anyone's minutes. But to hear that a goalie has that many penalty minutes and that many more than probably 50-60% of the rest of the roster, it's pretty comical.
Keith Price says in the YouTube chat, the outdoor games appear slow. This one appeared really slow due to the extreme cold. I like it. I feel it helps non-regular hockey fans follow the game. Just a random thought. That's interesting. I get it. It seemed a little slow. I thought puck handling. The puck was a little harder to handle. They were saying that the pucks were kept at a good temperature. And like I said, Perron said the ice was good. So I thought for a second the ice might be an issue, but it apparently wasn't.
Right. The pucks in the ice you can control that temperature. It's harder to control the temperature of the sticks. Right, because players are going to keep the same stick, and those things, especially the one-piece composites, those are going to get cold.
I was wondering about that because I've never played in that low a temperature with a one-piece. I have a couple one-pieces, and I've never played in that cold a temperature. I have played outside in the cold, but it does affect your stick quite a bit. It doesn't feel the same at all. So maybe the sticks were stiffer, and it just didn't feel right.
A couple of years ago, we played in a pond in St. Charles. I think it was -4 out. And after about 30 minutes, I could just feel my stick. Like I couldn't really feel the puck on my stick anymore. Like I had to keep glancing down more at my feet to make sure the puck was still there. You just don't feel it like you normally do. And I think that's more of a problem with the stick than it is with the pucks.
Well, and
And
typically goalies in cold weather, the issue is your feet, your toes, and your ears.
mm-hmm.
That's what
Yep.
the problem is. So, and Bennington said that's what he was focusing on.
By the way, Bennington 14 penalty minutes this year. He
Okay.
leads all goalies. Robin Lehner, number 2 at 10.
Where's the press for him? Come on.
Yeah, right.
Blues scored 5 goals in the second period, setting a Winter Classic record for goals in a period. Kyrou gets his first of the game when he centers the puck, and Bouchard redirected it past Talbot. We talked about briefly in front. So we're even at this point with own goals. Mikkola puts one in. Bouchard puts one in. Okay, we're even. Blues are up 2-1. Tarasenko scores as the Blues enter the zone. A rare goal for Tarasenko, a one-timer. You don't see him score this many. He didn't get all of it. It fluttered, but it goes in. It finds its way past Talbot. So another assist from Kyrou here.
You have a comment here in the notes that I want to read because I think it's important. So I want to say these are out of Kurt's fingers, not my mouth.
Okay. So what I fuck up here?
No. That's a
All
good thing. Get the goalie moving and get the shot off quick. Holes will open when you do that.
Oh.
So yeah, maybe Tarasenko doesn't get the whole shot,
Right.
but the fact that you're getting the goalie and Bill can speak to this, you get moving side to side, and especially in maybe the cold weather affects it too. You're gonna open up more holes because he's not just standing square, ready for the shot. He's moving, and you're gonna get more holes by doing that. So even if it's a fluttering shot, there's a good chance you're gonna open up a hole and have a good scoring chance.
No, look where Talbot wound up after this goal. It was like classic Jake Allen slid, like he was in the trapezoid at the end of this play. So I think he was off his game. He did not have a good game at all. Bennington didn't have to have a good game. And that was, one of the things that the TNT announcers joked about was that maybe that was the Wild's approach in the first period is to freeze Bennington out and
to just not
get
give
him
him
any
action.
work.
Yeah.
But no, Talbot, I think, all around had a bad game. Just from his positioning and his anticipation to his toque being poorly fitted to his helmet.
Yeah, that was bad.
That looked awful. I mean, Jose Theodore was crying somewhere in Montreal.
So
it was so bad.
Being a forward, it's like forward, offense 101. You on a 2-1, you pass across, get the one, put it in a shot in a spot where your partner on the 2-on-1 can get a one-timer off. Put it in a good spot, because if you pass across one-timer, the goalie's sliding across, get holes to open up, your chances of scoring go up. So, and that's just that's offense 101, and you see it all the time when goalies slide. And I'm sure it's one of those things that Bill can attest that goalies, they try to. I mean, it's going to happen. You can't help it. You're stretching out, right? Holes open up, but you know that holes are going to open up as a goalie. So you try and reduce that as much as you can, but while also stretching out to throw your blocker out or to slide across and opens the 5-hole up or whatever. So it's tough for a goalie. If you let him move across and get set, then your options reduce. So, and that's why, and it's almost shocking that Tarasenko has actually scored as many goals as he has, because he's not a one-timer guy. He dusts the puck off. He'll receive the puck, dust it off, forehand, backhand, and then corral it and then shoot, which gives the goalie time to set. But his wrist shot is just so good.
I was going to say
he can pick corners.
That's where you have to give him credit.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's impressive that he can still score, because he's not an Ovechkin-like player. He doesn't have that quick one-time release that Ovechkin does. It's crazy. And goalies have time to get set.
You mentioned it, that he doesn't take a lot of one-timers. Have you guys noticed? I feel like we're seeing him at least attempt one-timers a lot more.
A few times. He's got like 3 this year, I think.
It makes you wonder if that was something he focused on in his rehab. I've got to be able to get the puck off faster.
Wasn't it like one of his first 2 or 3 goals this season, or he was a really impressive one-timer. The upper glove, I believe it was, just zipped under the bar. It was real early in the season. One of his first goals, and we're like, wow, his shoulders looks great with that shot.
I think it's, one-timers are something that, come with confidence, and he is playing with the most confidence that we've ever seen him play with.
That's true.
Right. And he's not afraid to let a shot go, and, doesn't try to overhandle it. And that's a great thing. I think why our power play's been so effective is people aren't overhandling the puck. Right, we're finally beyond the Alex Pietrangelo stick handle across the blue line as much as you can and wait for somebody to get open and get poke checked. We're past that, and players are moving the puck around. When this power play is effective, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing it go side to side. The person at the point's not holding it too long, and they're looking to set up somebody. And if they don't have it right away, they move it.
I still think they pass the puck too much. Pass up some shots they could. I mean, it's hard to argue the results because they're scoring some goals, but man, they do pass up some chances to make that extra pass. But
right. Well, I think that 2 guys on this team that are most guilty of that are Buchnevich and Thomas.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. Yeah, but Thomas, you almost give a pass to. No pun. But just because that's his game, he does not shoot hardly ever.
Right.
And Buchnevich is like, man, you're on this team to score some goals, so let's fire that puck. You've got, I mean, he's fit in this team great, but I think you just see him pass up some chances, like glorious chances, and it's like, dude, take that shot, that's yours.
Yeah.
So, Barbashev scored on the power play after next for the Blues after camping out in the slot. Speaking of Buchnevich, he fed Kyrou, who shot from the left faceoff dot, and Talbot made the save, and Barbashev wasn't boxed out and just slammed it home in the center. Barbashev is quietly having a great season. Already has a career high in points. God. 27 points already, 12 goals, 15 assists in 32 games. His previous high was 26 points in 69 games in 1920. He's on pace for about 70 points in a full 82-game season this year. Most underrated player on the Blues, ?
Most underrated player in the league? ?
Maybe.
I'm going to give him credit. Thomas Welch. Again, you can follow him on Twitter at TWelcher15, WELCHER. He listed people that Barbashev has more points than this season. Matthew Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk, Patrick Kane, Patrice Bergeron, David Pasternak, and Mitch Marner. That's an impressive list. He has more points than all of them.
I didn't look at the ice time, but he's probably got less ice time too than all those guys.
I'm sure he is. And I think some of those guys are out with COVID, but so was Barbashev.
Right.
So
he's missed.
I mean, it's impressive the year he's having.
He's only missed, was it 1 game? Because he's played in 32, and the Blues have played 33 games, so he missed 1. According to this. Yeah, I think he is extremely underrated. He's 70-point season. I mean, that's good. That'd be good for, what was it? Second on the team behind O'Reilly, the last full NHL season. Over a full 70 points would be. O'Reilly had in the Cup season, he had 77 points. Led the team. So Barbashev would have
been. Well, let's remember, Barbashev is still considered young. He's 26. That means he's about to enter his prime. So we may not have even seen the best of Barbashev yet.
He had in that season, the Cup season, when O'Reilly had 77, Barbashev had 26 points in 80 games. So he's come a long way. This is his breakout season so far. So hopefully it's not a hot streak that's going to fizzle out. Hopefully it carries, and that's who he is. But man, because he's a third line guy. So it's that's a 70 points. If he can maintain that, it's a big if. 70 points for a third liner, second third liner, hell, fourth line time too.
Oh yeah.
So it's 4-1 at this point, and I'm thinking game's over. Right? There's like 5 minutes to go in the second period. Minnesota looks awful. The Blues are looking good. Game over. And Kyrou scores again after a nice give and go with Thomas. Buries a shot, upper glove on Talbot to make it 5-1. Looked like Kyrou wanted to pass this puck. It was like he just comes in and it didn't look like he was normally set to shoot. It looked like he was looking for a pass and then just lets a quick shot go, and he just zipped it. I mean, perfectly placed.
And that's what a good player does, because maybe he was thinking pass, but the fact that he's able to make that decision so quick, and maybe he was thinking shot the whole way too. I mean, he's a crafty guy to be able to sell that and then get the shot off. That's elite level stuff.
Well, he did think pass first. He gave it to Thomas, who gave it right back to him,
which is what Thomas does.
Completely that was the crazy thing. They completely backed off of Kyrou the second he gave the puck up to Thomas, and he got that extra space.
Minnesota was
for a guy who had put up 3 points at that point already, why are you not marking the guy who's got the hot hand?
Minnesota backed in the zone. They didn't box out in front. They were terrible in this game. I mean, this is a team. I mean, Minnesota had lost 4 straight coming in. They've lost 5 straight now. They hadn't played since December 19th, I think it was. So it's been a while.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. So yeah, they hadn't played a while, but they've lost. They're. I think, and I said this earlier. I thought Minnesota was overachieving. They're probably coming back down to earth now. They've lost 5 straight. I didn't think they were as good as how they were playing, but we'll see. They turn it around, but they haven't had a ton of COVID issues during their losing streak. Now they had some out for the Winter Classic, but Minnesota did score a goal to try and save some face. Rem Pitlick scored a rather fluky goal again. We talked about it off of Prunovic's stick on a kind of a wraparound play, a pass in front, try off the the stick, up in the air, off the side of Bennington's mask. That goes in.
That was actually the Liut side of the mask. So
God damn it,
Liut earlier.
No, it was Hall. That was Hall. The left side was Hall.
Liut's on the left side. Hall's on the right.
You're sure?
Yep.
I thought they showed it on TV. Okay.
I'm gonna trust Bill over you.
Sorry, all right. I'm gonna call shenanigans.
I've obsessed over that mask. Okay. So
all right.
I am so confident that I'm probably wrong.
Okay. Jeff, you need to pull it up.
I'm trying to look now.
Right.
I'm looking up now.
So after Pitlick scores the goofy goal, still not done. Torrey Krug scores a goal that I thought Talbot looked. This is the worst goal Talbot gave up. He saw it. It wasn't screened. It just beat him. Just didn't look good. Like he was giving up in the game almost. Simple pass from Barbashev to Krug in the high slot. Let's wrist shot go. It beats Talbot clean. I laughed after this goal. I was like, geez.
Bill was right.
Okay. Really?
Yeah, looking at it. Yeah. Liut's on the left side.
All right. Good on you, Bill. I was wrong. So that's 41 seconds to go is when Krug scored, and it gave the Blues their 4-goal lead back, 6-2 going into the third. Talbot was pulled. Capo Kakinen gets in. My daughter thought that name was hilarious. Minnesota did score 2 goals in the third period to kind of make it close. They got within 2 with about 5+ left. Pulled their goalie for the remaining 5+ minutes. Blues couldn't score. Game ends 6-4.
I thought it was funny how they pulled the goalie left with like 8 minutes left because they got that the power play.
Yeah,
and I just felt like, and again, I know I'm not trying to rag on Minnesota. They ended up scoring a goal there, which good for them. But they just look so unorganized with the extra man. They just didn't look like, you see teams, you could tell they practice it. The Blues lately have been great with the extra man. But you look at really any team when they have the extra man out there and they've got the other team hemmed in, they're trying to make a set play. There's a play that they've worked on that they want to try and get the goal. I didn't feel that way with Minnesota. They looked like they were just like, okay, who's open? Who's open? Okay, give it to him. Okay, who's open? Who's open? Give it to him. I just didn't feel like there was any kind of set for them to try and create some play for them to get a goal. And, for them, it's got to be get the puck to Kaprizov, right? And I just never felt like that was really their intention the whole time.
They didn't have the puck long enough to do much of anything with it. They have it and they'd cough it up. I didn't.
Yep.
Like I said, I mean, Minnesota. I mean, to oversimplify it, I thought Minnesota just looked terrible. They didn't have
They
any
did.
continuity. They didn't have any flow to their game. They couldn't get anything to work. The Blues were all over them. And not that the Blues were just swarming, like they were dominating, but it was Minnesota's poor play combined, and then allowed the Blues to just do all kinds of stuff. So yeah, Blues are 2-0 in Winter Classics now. They do have the record for most goals scored in a period with 5. Kyrie set the record for most points in a Winter Classic game with 4. The Blues have outscored their opponents in Winter Classics 10-5. But more importantly, lost in all the hoopla that is surrounding the outdoor game, this game was a big divisional game. It was a battle for first place. Minnesota was trailing the Blues by 1 point, and the Blues now have a 3-point lead in Minnesota. Minnesota does have 2 games in hand, so that made that game important, because if Minnesota does win those 2 games in hand, then they only jump back ahead of the Blues by 1. So big regulation win too. Not to take it to overtime or anything like that. Which
I'll admit, like we talked about last week, a couple days ago with the Edmonton game, that we never really felt nervous that the defense played so well. And it wasn't that Minnesota was playing that well, but I just felt like late in the game, the Blues were just like, okay, we got to get out of here. Like, let's close this game out, get on the plane, go home. Like, and there was just a couple chances that Minnesota got late. And I thought, my God, if this game goes into overtime, tied 6-6, fuck, that sucks.
Yeah, I wasn't too concerned about it, but they did make it interesting. They made it where they pulled their goalie got it within 2 goals. So I guess they saved some face late. On the box score didn't look terrible.
No, box score didn't look terrible, but at the end of the day, the Blues dominated.
Oh yeah.
I will say that the stretch run there, the last 5 minutes, from 5 minutes to about the minute mark, was there was some sphincter clenching going on in my household, at least. It felt like things were starting to slip, but they prevailed.
Sphincter clinchers, isn't that the name of your bowling team?
The 3-fingered sphincter clenchers? That's hard to say. Holy shit.
That's a genius name, Kurt. I like it.
Well, you said bowling, 3 fingers, right? We're going to talk about the Blues custom jersey fiasco that was all over social media and actually affected Mr. Bill Day. After this word from our friends at Center Ice Brewery. Center Ice Brewery is St. Louis's only hockey-themed brewhouse. Stop on in during the next game to experience the ultimate hockey fan brewery while sampling various hockey-inspired beers, such as Old Arena Lager, the Beauty IPA, the Rotating Pale Ale Series, or seasonal offerings such as their Imperial Stout, their Lime Sherbet Sour, and much more. While you're there enjoying any number of their fantastic beverages, you can admire the bar top and tables made of authentic arena wood and the actual penalty box door from the old barn. Located at 3126 Olive Street in Midtown St. Louis, it's one of the best places to watch a Blues game, or any game. Visit CenterIceBrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or make a reservation in the tap room. Center Ice Brewery. Let's go Blues. Please drink responsibly. So yeah, there was a custom Blues jersey fiasco on Twitter. Apparently, what was was it STL Authentics? Or was it, is that the Bill is freaking out? Was it STL Authentics? Who just, now Bill's gone.
Oh, we lost Bill. Bye, Bill. I would guess so. I honestly don't know because I haven't dealt with it, but I think that's right.
Yeah, here he's back again. There you go. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy. STL Authentics was trying to quiet me there.
So this was a complaint from a number of people on social media that months ago people ordered custom Winter Classic jerseys to have for this game. Either they were going to the game or they wanted to have it by today's date, and they ordered them 15 weeks ago. Some people said at STL Authentics just to get a custom number and letter, a different player. But they didn't have, like, there was 3 players available. That was all you could choose from?
It was O'Reilly, Binnington, and Tarasenko were the ones that they had available.
That you could buy off the shelf. Yeah.
Right.
So if you wanted something different than those three, you had to custom order it, and they would make it, and then you'd get it. And like nobody was getting their custom jerseys, or few. I mean, they're so backlogged apparently that it shouldn't take 15 weeks to get a custom jersey from anybody. And Bill, you had an experience. Julie got you a jersey that you have not received yet, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So she ordered a lot later than a lot of people. I saw people who had said they ordered when they went on sale, which I think was like September 11th. That still hadn't gotten theirs. I think Katie Feldmeyer, who's very popular on Blues Twitter, I see her, in all my feeds.
Yep.
She was tweeting about how she got hers, but her ticket rep had to deliver it before they got on the plane. So I think the day that they were leaving or the day before, she finally got hers, and she ordered the day they went on sale. So Julie ordered mine. I wanted a Perron, and it was going to be a Christmas gift. She ordered mine towards the end of October. I ordered her a Bennington one on Black Friday, and I got mine. Well, I got the one for her sometime like the week before Christmas. It showed up. So again,
Yeah.
order the one that they have on the shelf, and you're gonna get it. And it was still delayed. It's not like these things just come made perfectly. We wanted the patch sewn on, and that took a couple extra days. But yeah, it just it's at the end of the day, I'll be happy to have it. And I had her brother gave me, he ordered just a plain one from Authentics, and they sent him two, so he gave me the other one, so I had something.
So people aren't getting yours at all. Some are getting two, and they ordered one.
Right. It's a cluster. But it's 2021, 2022. That's what we expect. Nothing works like you think it should.
Figured out. Yeah. I mean, still you have. This should be. I mean, maybe if they didn't, they probably should have to tell people, hey, there might be a delay. Although I'm not sure if they would have known this, but. I mean, if you can't get a custom jersey out to somebody in 15 weeks, you're doing it wrong. And I don't care. You're doing something wrong.
And that was what Julie was, upset about, is that they never updated the language they have on the website in terms of expected delivery until the week of Christmas. Then all of a sudden it said, custom orders may take an extra like 7 weeks or something. I forget exactly what it was.
It's interesting because you see all these people complaining and tagging STL Authentics on Twitter, and STL Authentics is silent. They don't reply to anybody. No apologies, nothing.
Right. And the only way Julie got through was on Facebook Messenger.
Really?
Like, probably the last place I would have thought to try. Somebody contacted her on Facebook Messenger from Authentics to tell her we were like still like the day before Christmas, whatever. I think I was still like Barbashev in the queue. I think she said we were 49th out of the orders left. So. At some point I'll get it. And the fact that Perron scored the first goal, I'll be able to say, it means something. It would have meant more, though, had I had
it. Keith Price in YouTube chat says, is there a Winter Classic equivalent to in any other sport? Maybe baseball could do a wooden bat game. Keith, they use wooden bats in major leagues.
Wow. Wow.
He goes,
I see where the intelligence went in your family.
Baseball did have the Field of Dreams game, which is what I was going to say. Yeah, they had that. And they're gonna keep doing that. I think they're gonna have another one this year. And the Cubs
Basketball
are playing.
Could do
the Cubs are playing the Field of Dreams game. The Cubs are playing this year, but they're not playing the Cardinals. And people are like, why aren't the Cubs playing the Cardinals?
Right. Yeah. The two closest teams to Iowa. It's crazy.
It's done. Why not? Because the Cardinals were rumored to be playing in the first one, right? And then it was Cardinals and White Sox, I think.
Yeah, and then it was Yankees, White Sox.
And then COVID happened, and for some reason the Cardinals didn't have it, weren't in it. And then the Cubs were in the next one, and then the Cardinals are the logical choice here against the Cubs, and it's not. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Maybe the Cardinals and Cubs don't want to give up that revenue from the Cardinals Cubs game in St. Louis or Chicago because it'd take away from one of the cities. Maybe that's part of it because that's a big revenue game.
Yeah, and maybe it's just that the MLB has the worst commissioner in sports, and he has no clue what's going on in baseball.
That very well could be.
Basketball could do an inner city game, you could
on the streets,
one of those basketball courts in the streets, and you could close down the streets around it. You could set up bleachers. That could be pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
What I would love to see for Major League Baseball would be a wiffle ball game.
Oh, that would be awesome.
A wiffle ball game that counts in the standings.
Oh my God.
Give me that. Feed that into my veins. That game would go on forever. You would have to have like a 10-run cap on innings or something.
I messed up my shoulder during Wifflepalooza, Bill. My backyard. Wiffle ball all day long, is pitching a lot, and I messed up my shoulder for life.
Yep, I remember that day very, very well.
It was bad. I mean, to this day, I mean, it's not terrible, but I have to like warm up extra long to get the shoulder warm, because if I don't, there's some pain in the shoulder.
Yeah, and you were like 22, or you were 24 probably for Wifflepalooza.
I was early 20s, something like that.
Yeah.
I was still in college. I was home from college.
Yeah.
So it was 22, 23.
Yeah, you're probably 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Ken Morris comment of the show here, just because I'm going to add on to it. NASCAR should have a race with vintage 1950s stock cars. I'm going to do you one better. Let's see a NASCAR event with all the NASCAR drivers, and they're all driving sedans.
Station wagons.
I think that would
actual
that would be a lot of fun.
cars.
Yeah, I think that'd be amazing. Or like Ford Explorers or something.
The Blues are finally healthy today. I mean, technically, I guess.
Hey, before we get into that, should we go ahead and answer Thomas Welch's question?
I was going to do that right while we do talk about this, because we're talking about.
Go ahead.
The Blues.
What am I doing?
The Blues,
Why am I interrupting
players right now. I'm working it in.
I'm going to stop interrupting you. Hey, Kurt, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you want to talk about?
I got to pull up his question. That was early on, right? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
So there haven't been that many games this season where the Blues have dressed everyone. But today, Braden Shen was activated from the IR and is expected to play on Wednesday versus the Penguins in Pittsburgh. The Blues have also placed James Neal, who was put on waivers and cleared to the taxi squad. Dakota Joshua has also been placed on the taxi squad. The taxi squad currently consists of Nathan Walker, James Neal, and Dakota Joshua. So the NHL, if you haven't heard, has given the taxi squad back to the teams once again to help with replacement players due to COVID situation. So this would have been nice for the Blues to have a month ago when they were forced to play shorthanded and dress an e-bug for a game. Whatever.
Would have been nice, but wasn't necessary.
No, clearly not.
No, not
clearly the Blues' strategy needs to be to skate 17.
Right. I mean, if you're winning, I guess you can't complain too much. But man, if we had like struggled through that period, and then now the NHL is doing the taxi squad, and like, come on, where was that? Oh yeah. But winning cures everything, right?
Yeah, it really does.
Winning, a successful formula is Jake Wallman, left winger.
Hell yes.
Hey,
yes.
It's almost like Vince Dunn would have been a good role for him too. Same spot.
Yeah.
Yesterday, the Blues also signed goalie Charlie Lindgren, forward Alexei Toropchenko, and defenseman Kelly Rosen to Springfield. Lindgren and Toropchenko were on emergency loan by rule, had to be returned. So before anyone starts bitching about Lindgren,
I am so mad that Charlie Lindgren is gone.
They should have traded
Husso.
He had to go back. He had to. That's what emergency loan means. You can't keep him.
Quick note, just to show that there is a little bit of realism, and I mean realism, in the EA Sports game, and I know I mentioned one of these quips every week. I tried to trade Billy Huso, who was having a great season for me, but I didn't need him. All I could get was an AHL forward for him.
Yeah, you weren't going to get anything for Huso. No one's,
you're not.
It's not going to happen. Not much.
Yeah.
Third round pick. Tops.
Yeah.
Tops. Third round pick.
Draft pick, maybe a depth forward who might be able to be called up in an NHL spot.
It's a situation where Huso is worth way more to you now than you're going to get for him. So just sit down, stop talking.
It's like everybody forgets how good Huso was before he got injured.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's the thing, Charlie Lindgren was such a great story, such a feel-good story that nobody wants to let him go. And I'll tell you what, I was the guy that bought into that the hardest, I think, right? Especially with Montreal, right? He got the start against Montreal, and he loved every second of that. It was a little bit heartbreaking that he didn't get the shutout in that game because the Canadiens were so terrible. But God, that was awesome. That said, I'm not going to be surprised if, the next time he gets a call up, he gets lit up pretty bad. I think, it was lightning in a bottle. I'd love to see him come back and be good, but that means somebody else has to get injured. Yeah. I'm happy with who we have.
We said on this show loudly before the season started in our season preview show that this Blues team, when healthy, is extremely deep and wasn't being given enough credit by the national sports media and some local media for how deep and good this team is. And you see people finally coming around on this team, and it's just kind of funny to hear it now. But Thomas Welcher in the YouTube chat asked earlier, how comfortable are you guys about the changing of the guard with this team and the next core of the St. Louis Blues right now? And I was just thinking about this the other day, that you got your Thomas, your Kyrou, your Perunovich, I guess your big three. Buchnevich is still pretty young. I love it. I think we talk about this last week or on Friday a little bit about how the transition, there was a lot of talk before this season about how the Blues window of the cup window was closing or was already closed, and people were like, "Yeah, they need to rebuild because the window's closed." And I was like, "Yeah, come on, guys, let's not be dramatic here." But so with the emergence of Kyrou and Thomas, and Perunovich can play. And the acquisition of Buchnevich, their window is not closed, and I love the youth on this team, which gives us tremendous depth. I have a hard time naming a team that has more depth than this team does. And so I'm quite comfortable with this team for the next 5-6 years. Because you're gonna have players like, O'Reilly, Shen, Krug. You're gonna the longer term guys that when they're at the end of their contracts or a couple years from, what do you do with them? That's gonna be an issue. But I love the young core of this team. So you got the main core right now, right? Shen, O'Reilly, right. Tarasenko, Perron, Parayko. I guess Parayko's still pretty young. How old is he? He's 28, something like that. But so I think that. Yeah, to answer your question,
28.
28. How comfortable am I? And you guys can comment too that the change in the guard. There's not a change in the guard yet, but when that does happen, the slow transition, a lot of stuff can happen between now and then. But I'm comfortable with how this team is set up to progress.
You know what I think about the other teams in the NHL who won Stanley Cups. And definitely didn't have the youth to replace some of those vets that they needed. Like, you look at the LA Kings, who had 2 cups in, 4 or 5 years. The biggest name they had coming up, yes, they still had young guys, younger guys like Kopitar, Doughty, Quick even. They weren't aging guys, but coming up, all they really had was Adrian Kempe. And even he was not a highly touted prospect. I mean, he was a guy they thought, okay, he'll be a great second line center one day. People are still saying Robert Thomas could be a number one center in the NHL. You look at the Blackhawks. What did they have coming up when they were winning their cups? Corey Crawford was kind of young in goal, but they didn't really have anything. I think they hadn't drafted DeBrincat yet. They hadn't drafted Doc. They looked like a team that was kind of dry in the cupboard. You look at the Blues right now. Yes, they've only won one cup. It's ridiculous to compare them to teams that have won multiple in the last couple of years. But you look at where they're at right now, and they've got this influx of veterans that have won a cup. Like you said, Shen, O'Reilly, Perron, Tarasenko, Parayko, guys that aren't even really that old. They're veterans, but they're not in their, mid to late 30s like Steen was. And now you've got guys like you said, Thomas, who, by the way, has already won a cup. You've got Kyrou and even a guy like Kostin, who might still step into his own and might still be a guy that surprises. You mentioned Barbashev stepping his game up, Perunovic. And then, there's just other guys that are, still trying to kind of work their way into the lineup on a regular basis. And guys that have stepped in and proven that they can play in NHL minutes, like Nathan Walker or someone like that. There's a lot of great youth on this team that mixes with that veteran core. And I love it. I love every bit of it. And, we didn't even mention Brandon Saad, who's also won a Stanley Cup.
Right.
There's a lot on this team on both sides. If you say, well, you need a veteran leadership to get you to the cup. Okay, Blues have that. Oh, you need youth who can drive you through the playoffs. Yeah, the Blues have that too. So I love it. Give me more of it. I think this team is primed for. I'm not saying they're going to win multiple cups, but I'm saying they're going to be in the hunt every season.
Right, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's not so much to go back to Thomas's original question. The changing of the guard, the passing of the torch to the younger guys. Right, it's a mix. It's the team chemistry and the mix. Right, you've got your leader. You've got O'Reilly. Right, and Tarasenko. He is leading by example this year. Right, he's showing the leader that he wanted to be. But it's we talked about it earlier with Kyrou, right? He had 4 points in less than 12 minutes in the or less than 9 minutes in that second period the other night, right? It's not like he's a minute muncher at this point in his career, but he's effective. Right, and so you've got the minute munchers, you've got your depth guys, and your core leadership that are able to handle a ton of minutes, and then you've got the production from the young guys, and that's the chemistry, and the makeup of this team that I think is so is what's making them so successful to this point in this season. And it's exciting, right? When was the last time we were excited for young guys coming up? Right, and at this point last year, we were, kind of thinking, what's Thomas going to do now? And even during this season, there was a lot of doubt about Thomas's productivity. And coming back, after his injury, he's looked a hell of a lot better. And Kyrou's totally exceeded expectations to this point, and it's amazing. It's awesome. I mean, to see him have that game in Minnesota that he did, just wow.
Rodney Hale in the YouTube chat said Logan Brown too. He's also young, and that's a pleasant surprise, to be honest. That's just one more, right?
Right, and I think that's the thing between Logan Brown and Klim Kostin. James Neal became the expendable veteran. And next on that list, Jeff talked about him, is Brandon Saad. Right, you're not going to get rid of him. He's up there, top 2 in this team in goals. Right, I think he and Tarasenko are 12 each. So you're not going to get rid of him. But man, before too long, he could, he dips off a little bit, and we're talking about him as expendable parts.
This is what the Blues have done, though. I mean, we shouldn't talk about this like this is a cool thing, a cool new thing. The Blues have been the best team in the Western Conference since 2010. So most points, most wins since 2010 in the Western Conference. And aside from a few years in the middle of the 2000s when they, under Kitchen and they sucked after the transition after Quenneville, before that it was the Quenneville years and they were fantastic, before that. So it's like, I mean, this team, like I said, aside from a few years in the mid 2000s, between 2000 and 2010, this team has been a extremely competitive team, if not a cup contender, a fringe cup contender, many years. So it's not. So this is just an ongoing tradition for this franchise that we've got young guys coming up. But to look at these specific guys, I think I'm probably more excited about this group than I was about Backus, Perron, and Oshie back when we drafted those guys. Now we were excited then about that, and that led to some good teams, but this young core right now and the acquisitions we've made, Bushnevich, getting Brown has been a great little nugget there for young depth.
For Sanford.
Yeah, for Sanford. My God. Brilliant. I'm not saying Logan Brown's going to turn into a tremendous forward, but he could be a fantastic third liner for us. I mean, I'm very happy. Especially coming off this offseason when we had a ton of discussion with people that said that the cup window was closed and we need to rebuild. And I would love to revisit that conversation with the same folks and say, what do you think now with the young core that's developed and showing what they can do? Why would you want to even think about doing that now? And it's only been 33 games since that conversation. So it's interesting. Speaking of the offseason talk, where are the Blackhawks? The Chicago Blackhawks. Where are they? You guys notice? You seen them lately?
Chicago.
You seen them lately? 7th in the division, 14 in the conference. A number of national experts, and we like to talk about this from time to time because it was funny before the season started and we were kind of confused about it. They picked the Blackhawks to make the playoffs ahead of the Blues. Not a lot of them, but there were a handful. And most of them didn't pick the Blues to make the playoffs at all. Saw it a lot. So we were quite puzzled. And right now the Blues are in first place in the Central with the second best goal differential in the division, third best goal differential in the conference, second place overall in the conference, 2 points behind Vegas with 2 games in hand on Vegas. And only 1 regulation loss in the last 10, are 12-3-2 at home. Berube, right now, if we're talking coach of the year, has to get consideration because of the work he did with the players being out due to COVID and injuries. The Blues are up near the league leaders in games missed because of those issues. It's kind of funny because the Blackhawks are they're way down there.
7th in the division.
Kind of where we thought they would be a little bit. So it's just funny to see how things pan out. When a team that you pay attention to closely is analyzed by the national guys who don't pay attention to this team closely, and you're like, oh, you're supposed to be the expert.
And we're not just tooting our horn here. We're not just, saying, oh, let's go Blues Radio had it right. And again, it's January, still plenty of season left. Things could change, but I doubt it. But we're tooting all of Blues Nation's horn because there was a lot of people that when they saw the standings or the projected standings come out by the experts, it was a lot of Blues fans saying, are you serious? Blackhawks over Blues? Or Blues not even in the playoffs? Blackhawks in over the Blues?
Yeah, that was weird.
There was a lot of people saying, you got to be kidding me. Think about it. Just because they got a goalie who's good and a decent defenseman, you're going to pick them over a team that has built to win a Stanley Cup again? I mean, craziness. And a team that's not made they made the playoffs in the bubble, right? Because they beat the Oilers.
Come on. You can't really count
outside of that, they're not a playoff team. They haven't been in a while.
Yeah.
Why all of a sudden, because you got 2 big acquisitions, that's going to change the entire makeup of the roster?
Right. And Fleury's been decent, but man, Seth Jones, everybody wants him to be the replacement for Duncan Keith or Brent Seabrook. The guy looks awful.
He does.
I mean, he second guesses himself more than any defenseman in the league now. And it's I feel awful for the guy because he is a damn good defenseman. But, I think the move to a major market like that and putting all the expectations, especially the year after, Seabrook and Keith both leave, man, those are some big shoes to fill. And he's not doing a great job doing it.
Matt Harris said in the YouTube chat, I think we have so much good going for this team right now. Is there anything to improve? Are there any parts we need to add, replace? And I think I want to say that I think we've said this before, that we all would like a big, tough, stay-at-home, solid defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the general consensus? Yeah.
Basically a better
Mikola's
version
not there
of
yet.
Robert Bortuzzo.
Yeah.
The Mayfield rumors in the offseason were when it was all but thought that Tarasenko was all but gone, right? You thought, oh, well, if we can get like a Mayfield in the package for Tarasenko, that's a need that we have, right, on defense.
Right.
So, but Tarasenko's not getting traded.
Local story. Everybody wants Webster Groves,
sure.
own.
I mean, imagine
Scott
that. It's in some universe, Logan Brown and Scott Mayfield came home.
Yeah. Well, and the Islanders are in last place in the Metropolitan Division. They're
which is crazy.
Which is
having a
the
bad
craziest thing.
Right. So, I mean, if that doesn't improve, they could be sellers at the deadline. So I would fully expect, if you were to ask me, what are the Blues going to do at the deadline? I would be shocked if they did not get a big defenseman at the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be shocked.
I really think they will too.
That they do not need a forward. They are set as long as they're healthy come the deadline time, right? And there's no injuries that they have to replace, but I think they're set.
Right. And wasn't it during the Winter Classic, during the panel, it was Tocchet that said, when they were talking about what could the Blues possibly add, he said, always looking for that big bad defenseman. Right.
And yeah, right.
Agree with that.
Who stands out to me is a name that we saw Blues fans clamoring for. I think it was over last summer. I think Jamie Alexiak is right for the pickings. Seattle's probably not going to make the playoffs. Maybe they do. Yeah. I don't know. But they might be looking to unload somebody. I think he's someone that the Blues might be trying to target.
It's going to be because usually at the deadline we're hoping the Blues make a move to get better, right? And then usually they don't. Most teams don't. But I think this is the year the Blues make a pretty good move to get a good defenseman, a solid, not a puck mover, but just a tough, stay-at-home defenseman, solid guy in front of the net. So I'd be shocked if that does not happen.
Yeah.
Rapid fire tidbits from around the NHL. Real quick, the Dallas Stars had 10 players removed from COVID protocol. Forward Radek Faksa, Luke Glendening, Rupe Hintz, Joel Kiviranta, among others. 10 players.
Patrick against the Avalanche in the series clinching game.
What's that?
When Kiviranta had a hat trick against the Avalanche in their run to the Cup.
Don't forget about former Blue Yanni Hakanpää was on that list.
Yes.
So many Finns on that team. It's crazy.
Heiskanen, Ryan Suter, along with two support staff members too. So they had a bunch of players come off at once. So there you go.
That goes to show you how they probably were all together when they all got it, right?
Yeah, and it's changed. It went from 10 games to 5. Or 10 days to 5, right? That you had to be on protocol, and if you're testing negative, then you can get out after 5 days. So something like that. So that probably has something to do with it. The game between the Ottawa Senators and Seattle Kraken at Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle on Thursday was postponed by the NHL on Monday due to COVID-19 concerns affecting the Senators. Ottawa has 8 players in COVID. The number of games postponed by the NHL to date is now 91. The NHL will announce rescheduled dates for all postponed games at a later date, which you got to think they're going to try and get those in during the Olympics.
Yeah, that game in particular, is of note because Ottawa only has 9 NHL players.
Yeah, but
Nice. Put them. Yeah, right. And I'll add too, it's kind of nice seeing that the Blues have only had 2 games postponed, right?
Yeah.
So you look at a lot of these other teams that are at 5, 6, 7 games.
Yeah.
And I think over that 2-week span, or I guess 3-week span, that's the Olympic break. I think what they're going to do is they're going to announce games over that break, and it's not going to get every team to 82. I think they'll wait after that, and then they'll say, okay, how are we doing with COVID after February? Then they'll start rescheduling games after that.
We'll see. They can also tack a game or two on the end of the season too.
That's what I think they'll do.
Yeah. Or even if that they travel to a city where they have to make up a game against this team, they might do a home and a home if they have the room in the schedule, something like that. We'll see.
Yeah. Listening to the 32 Thoughts pod from Elliot Friedman and Jeff Merrick before Christmas, they were talking about that the NHL could potentially wind up forcing teams, just to get full 82 games in, that you're not going to make up games cross conference. You're going to wind up playing, multiple games, potential for having another, Blues Coyotes 9-game series, just to get the season in. But that was weeks ago when the fears that Omicron was going to be as bad as Delta, which seems like, hopefully, knock on wood, that's not the case. I think that you're not going to. I think at this point the NHL should still be hopeful, especially with that makeup period over what would have been the Olympic break, to have the season as they intended.
I do hope we see more interconference games. Like the Blues had games against, was it Ottawa and was it Montreal that were postponed?
Ottawa and Toronto.
Ottawa and Toronto, yeah. You know what? As much as I'd love to see Toronto, give me a game
Don't
against
want
a
to see
Central
Ottawa?
Division team.
Don't care to see Ottawa. No, not at all. And to close out the show, a good story. A Kraken fan potentially saves the life of the Canucks assistant equipment manager, Nadia Popovici. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Is a future medical student and a Seattle Kraken fan, was sitting directly behind the Vancouver Canucks bench when she noticed a mole on the back of the neck of the Canucks assistant equipment manager, Brian Hamilton. Before leaving the game, she put her phone against the glass, knocked on the glass, and got Hamilton's attention. And her phone read, "Mole, doctor, cancer." So Hamilton said he didn't even know he had a mole there on his neck. A few days after the game, he got the mole biopsied and found out that he had a malignant melanoma in C2. I don't know what that means, SITU, meaning the cancerous cells were only on the outer layer of Hamilton's skin and detected very early. So Hamilton has since had it removed. They say that had he not gotten it removed and ignored it, in 4 or 5 years, he may not be here. So the Canucks and the Kraken combined to award Nadia a $10,000 scholarship for medical school as a show of appreciation. So that's pretty cool. Make sure you check the back of your neck.
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, listen, I'm not a medical student. I've never been interested in that. Just nothing I'd be good at. But it just makes you wonder, like, when there's a medical student or a doctor or a nurse and they're out in public, how often are they just like looking at people and going, "Oh, he might want to get that checked out."
Yeah.
Like that's crazy and good for her for doing that.
Taking the time to bang on the glass and put her phone up there with a message to him. She didn't have to do that. And she did. And he didn't even know it was there. So chances are it goes on for a while. And who knows? I mean, people, this is how some people...
You guys want to show me the back of your neck? Tell you if there's a mole there?
I wonder how big it was.
Bill, you got something furry growing on your head. You might want to know that.
This is how, this is how some people die. I mean, it happens. Yeah. So it's like, and she could have saved his life.
Yeah. That was him at the end of the day. It was the skin cancer.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, it's an amazing story. Feel good story of the year for the NHL.
Yeah.
Right.
Real good.
You have an expansion team, right? And think about that. Like you're Brian Hamilton. right? This team didn't exist last year. This person probably would not have been at a hockey game to tell you that you
Right.
have cancer. It's
Right.
one of those crazy, crazy coincidental things in this universe that just makes you wonder.
It almost makes me think, $10,000 is enough.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
It's like when you combine
If
the
I'm
two
Brian
franchises, it's
Hamilton,
like, come on, give him 25
I
grand.
don't know how much equipment managers make, but man, if
Well,
I'm him, I'm like, man,
eh,
10% of my paycheck the rest of the year goes to her.
and if she's going to medical school, $10,000 is might cover a couple classes.
A
Yeah.
textbook or two.
No,
You're right.
that's, I mean,
But still,
when I saw this story, I was just beside myself. That's amazing. What an awesome person. And I just hope that, in our lifetimes, we meet people. And I'm not saying I want somebody to come up and tell me, hey, you might have cancer. I'm saying I hope I'm surrounded by people who, if this kind of situation happened to me, that I have somebody like Nadia in my life. Because that is, that is so cool.
Right. I think we're going to wrap up the show, guys. Anything else you want to add? Any last words? Any famous last words?
Let's see. We got a couple comments we could read real quick. Ken Morris is looking forward to see how Kyrou plays against Crosby on Wednesday. I think we have so much good going for this team right now. This is from Matt Harris. Is there anything to improve? Are there any parts we need to add? I think you actually read that one.
I read
Kurt.
that one. Yep.
Let's see. Ken Morris loves Sod's speed. Whatever happened to the Blues experiment with Bo Bennett? Bo Bennett is retired. He is no longer playing. So
that's how it went.
There you go.
Yeah.
But no, it's Happy New Year to you guys. Thank you everybody for the awesome comments on this show. We had a lot of fun, and remember the giveaway.
Yes.
For the Bernie, let me try and get it on the screen here. The Bernie Federico My Blues Note, signed by Jeremy Rutherford, the author. Make sure you tweet us a picture. I know Matt Harris already has. Tweet us a picture right on our Facebook wall with the picture, or share. Make sure you tag us on Instagram with a picture. Something about the Winter Classic that you did, whether you watched it, you wore your jersey somewhere cool, or whatever. Anything to do with the Winter Classic, and you will be entered to win. And make sure you follow us on our social media platforms as well. You can find us everywhere. Let's Go Blues Radio. Multiple, let's see, I know Instagram and Twitter were LGB Radio.
Yes, I do believe that's all of them. Yeah, LGB Radio. We paid extra for that across all platforms.
Of course, yeah.
Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockinthatidlife.com for more information. That's rockinthatidlife.com to get 10% off by texting Dustin at 636-393-8745 and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. And by Center Ice Brewery, St. Louis's hockey-themed brewery. Visit centericebrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or to make a reservation in their awesome tap room located at 3126 Olive Street in Midtown St. Louis. It's one of the best places to watch a Blues game. That's centericebrewery.com. Please drink responsibly. That'll wrap up episode 16. Are we on 17? We're on 17 of season 10 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Jeff Prounder and Low Down Craig Price. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Sport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number one.